Welcome to another episode of OG55. First time on the channel, we have Theme Parks Assemble. We are talking about can non-IP attractions work in this current environment and the big war between Disney and Universal. We're going to talk about Walt Disney and the wonder of looking at the world through a child's perspective. We're also going to talk about Disney World attendance. Where is everybody? There's been reports it's been pretty soft lately, but what's causing it? Is it indicative of a bigger problem? We're going to talk about it up next on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. We got Theme Parks Assemble on the show. Very first time. I love this man's content. He does amazing stuff. Friend of the channel now for a little while. TPA, welcome back, or welcome first time. How are you?
Welcome. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a long time, I guess, coming, and I've been on a hiatus, but yeah, it's good to be back now. I can dip my toes a little bit on your side, and then we can get the ball rolling. So good to have me here.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can let everybody home know where they can find you on social media, how they can find you on YouTube, all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I go by Theme Parks Assemble on YouTube, pretty much all the social media sites, Instagram, also Facebook, and then on Twitter, it is TP Assemble.
Perfect. All right, let's dive right in. Our first topic is non-IP stuff, right? Like I see a lot of conversations, debates about this, especially the past few years as Disney has sort of ramped up the IP stuff. They're really, back in the day, back with like Michael Eisner, we would get little glimpses of non-IP stuff like, Expedition Everest, even Soarin' and things like that. I mean, California Adventure wasn't really an IP park when it opened in 2001. So there was kind of a little more, or even a lot more, of that non-IP representation at Disney than there is now. Now they rarely do a non-IP thing. What do you think? Because a lot of diehard fans, they want more non-IP stuff. But can they afford to do that with Universal? They got big IP now. It's like Super Mario stuff. I mean, is it feasible for Disney to even dip their toe into that? Or should they move with the times and do more IP stuff and just kind of continue that route?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's possible. I mean, the last thing that we had over here was technically Animal Kingdom, and dinosaurs is a popular attraction. And up until they added Pandora, the Avatar, everything was pretty much, like you said, non-IP. So that park actually did okay for when it opened up. But I mean, the only current example I could give for a non-IP ride would be Stardust Racers. And that is an amazing coaster, and it's rivaling Velocicoaster right now. And so, I mean, I would say maybe 20% that could be feasible, but I honestly think that Disney has too many IPs to play with for them to not utilize these things, and which in turn will kind of create the quote circle of life when it comes to merchandise and watching stuff on Disney Plus. You watch the movie, plus then you can go on the ride, and then you can get the merch. So it's kind of a full circle thing, which is why it seems like they're getting rid of Tom Sawyer and putting Cars there, because that's their big merch ticket. So I mean, it's feasible, but why would they? They have all the IP in the world to dabble their feet in and just add whatever they want to it. So
Yeah, and I do want to say I do give Universal quite a bit of credit, actually, for Stardust Racers. I mean, that's big for Universal. Universal isn't really known for non-IP stuff,
Yeah.
And for them to take that risk with this new park and to have that attraction, and even the whole entry, that Celestial Park, I mean, that's all non-IP. So that was a bold move, on Universal's part for sure.
Yeah, and I do feel like coasters and carousels, those are kind of the easy things to like make non-IP stuff, you know, when it comes to like a boat ride or an actual like simulation ride or something like that, you kind of do want more IP related things because it's just easier for people to get into. Whereas a coaster, you know, everyone loves a coaster. It doesn't matter what the theme is, you know, you just get on that coaster and hopefully it goes 60 miles and it does twists and turns and all that stuff. So it's easy to do those, but at the same time, you know, if you don't make a great coaster, like, you know, let's say, I don't want to say Curse of the Werewolf, but let's just say Curse of the Werewolf because it's not really a great coaster. Like it's fun, but you know, when I actually went, was it last week? Last week. And the wait times were like, it was like 40 minutes for Curse of the Werewolf. And I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm waiting 40 minutes for that. I'll wait like 10 or 15 minutes, but I'm not going to wait 40 minutes for something that lasts like a minute and a half. Now, Stardust, me and my little girl, who's a little thrill seeker, we actually sat in the line and waited because it was delayed. They added more cars to the track and everything. So we sat there and waited to get on that, you know, and that really kind of gives the mindset of like what that ride, you know, is to that park. You know, it's one of the best rides at that park, definitely top 3. Whereas Curse is just like, yeah, it's a cool theme, but it really doesn't do anything. I mean, it has a nice novelty spin, but yeah, they have too much IP. You know, they have everything at their fingertips, and they just need to let the Imagineers Imagineer. You know, get their heads spinning, get some good like original type rides in place for like, you know, villains and, you know, the new cards, you know, area and all the new stuff that they're going to be adding. So they just have too much IP, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel absolutely correct, and I feel too like Disney is sort of trying to like the attractions of yesteryear, right? Like, you know, the original concept for Magic Kingdom's Pirates of the Caribbean was supposed to be the Western River Expedition, right?
Right.
And that was really cool. Saw a lot of like the old Mark Davis artwork and stuff. Looks really dope. And I think those days are pretty much over. We're not going to see a big boat ride like that just with a bunch of cowboys and stuff in it with no IP to it. I think Disney's answer to a lot of the originality stuff nowadays is taking an IP and sort of giving it an original story, though. So Tiana's, you have an original story. It's a sequel attraction, right? So it's original, but you're utilizing utilizing IP that people recognize. Even the new thing coming out that's replacing the river, the Piston Peak, the Cars area. It's Cars, it's that IP, it's that world, but it's a new setting, it's a new kind of story. So that's where I think in the future, that's where the originality is going to come in, probably, is through that kind of angle, and not so much like, yeah, we're making a new cowboy boat ride. This is not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And right now too, especially, like, there's so much risk involved in these parks. I mean, right? It's more expensive now than ever to build these things. And Universal's been doing a great job with their stuff. They're up in the game. So it's like an arms race now. Like, you got to make everything better than the last. And you can't afford to spend $1 billion on something that isn't really proven. And you build the Elsa ride, and it's kind of got a built-in fan base. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's funny that you mentioned Tiana, because they kind of did the same thing with Frozen too, is where they just took an existing ride and just replaced it with whatever, you know, IP that they had in place. Whereas Frozen, it follows the movie pretty much. Whereas Tiana, I mean, I'm not sold on the sequel portion of the ride, but it is still a good ride. But, but then again, it's Splash Mountain with Tiana, paint on it basically. But yeah, it's just funny that you mentioned that, because yeah, it is still a good ride. But yeah, I think if they do anything, they're going to do those things. As sad as it may be to like get rid of a ride and then add a ride, but it's basically this, like they're doing with Dinosaur. They're going to put Indiana Jones. It's technically going to be the same track apparently, but it's just going to put Indiana Jones on top of it. Whereas they should make something. I mean, I know time restraints is probably the thing, which is probably why they're doing it, that because they know Epic Universe is out. They know that, in our next topic, losing attendance supposedly. So they want to kind of like get this out, hurry up as fast as they can, get that ride out, and, not have to worry about the intricacies of, okay, what the track is going to look like, what's the storyline, all that stuff. They already have the track. They just need to just paint it over basically. So
pretty much, yeah. Indy's pretty much like, the track, the vehicles. All they got to do is, repaint those vehicles, age them a little bit, and the building, all that's there. They just got to add the sets. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
now, you've been to Indiana Jones out here in California.
Actually, I have not. That's actually one of the rides that I have not rode on when I went to California. When I went there, I haven't been there not even a handful of times. I've been to Disneyland maybe twice, and I've been to California maybe twice. But in each time, there's actually a couple of rides that I've missed. So I missed Indiana Jones. I still haven't gone on a Incredicoaster. I've been
Wow.
meaning to go on that forever, and I still can't seem to like get it. And then bobsled. I haven't been on bobsled yet. So there's actually a couple of rides that I still haven't been on, and hopefully I think next year when we do finally make a trip over there again, I can get on those rides. But no, yeah, I haven't. I've seen the videos. I watch the videos on there, so I see kind of what it's about. But I haven't officially rode it yet. So
Yeah, it's kind of wild how, it's literally the same ride vehicles, the
Mhm.
same layout and everything, but yet with the different set dressings and the different music, what a totally completely different vibe and energy between
Right.
these two attractions. It's crazy how like just switching that stuff up can change things dramatically. Like even like Mission Breakout, it's
Right.
technically the Tower of Terror. Just the window dressing changed, but it's a completely different experience. So it's kind of wild, depending on what IP, what music, and all that you add to it, it can just change the whole vibe. It's kind of
Yeah, and
cool.
I do like Mission Breakout more than I like Tower of Terror, just because I'm, a big Marvel fan. I like Guardians and everything, and it's more upbeat, whereas Tower of Terror is scary, even though it kind of fits because you're dropping, as my little girl can attest to. She wasn't too happy that I made her go on that. But it's more scary because, it is dark and you're dropping, whereas Mission Breakout is a little bit more fun, even though it's, yeah, like you said, it's technically the same ride, but it's the feel is different because of music and the set dresses and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it was kind of weird because when they built Tower of Terror out here at California, DCA, it was always seen as like the Tower of Terror, like light, like diet Tower of Terror.
Mhm.
It always felt like a budgeted version of the one that you guys have out there in Florida. And I think it was really smart for Disney to retheme ours. I don't want them to do it to yours. I think yours is fantastic the way it is. But out here in Cali, I think it made a lot of sense because there was always those comparisons, right? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of a watered down version. And now that it's Marvel and Guardians and it's a different kind of vibe, it completely took on its own personality. And you don't really see those comparisons anymore. It's like its own thing, which I think was a really smart move in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It definitely fits now that with the paint and how it looks. It always amazes me because I've been there twice and it's like literally right on the road. It always amazes me how you could just see Mission Breakout just right there. You're like across the street eating McDonald's and then there's Mission Breakout right there. It always
Crazy.
fascinates me. But yeah, no, yeah, the different paint and everything. Yeah, it definitely fits that whole area. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And that is the one thing that here in California, we definitely do not have the blessing of size out here. I mean,
Yeah.
we are really, we, we got some tight quarters out here, I mean, Disney had to like blood, sweat, and tears that thing to get the Disneyland Forward stuff approved. It took them like
Oh
years
yeah.
to even get that through. And
You're doing it now though. You got that space somehow, and hopefully everything goes out according to plan, I hope it looks great out there. I can't wait to see it when it actually everything is done.
yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's move on to our next topic. Now, have you been to Disney World recently at all, like past few weeks or month or so?
Oh yeah, definitely. I had my kids for the summer, so we did all the parks. We did all four parks, and we did Epic Universe. So yeah, we've been there. Usually different times. We went on a Wednesday, and then we went on weekends. So we kind of have like the full spectrum of either during the week or actually the weekend as well.
Okay, cool. Now, what have you noticed? Because Epic opened in May, I think it was May 22nd,
Mhm.
and it's gotten great reviews. People love it. People love this park, right? It's gotten great reviews, great word of mouth. What have you noticed with the crowds? Because I've been seeing a lot of reports that like Disney World has been really light with their crowds compared to usual. I mean, have you noticed that? And like, what do you make of that? If it's
It is hard to judge a little bit, depending on the day, but it feels like the park is normal. What I can go by is the wait times for the rides. So having said that, we went to Magic Kingdom on a Wednesday, and the wait times for Jungle Cruise, which is normally like 60 minutes at least, I think I saw it like 40 minutes at one point. So it seemed like it was somewhat of a lighter day. And then let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else. So yeah, like Buzz Lightyear was like 25 minutes. Normally it's like 35. Some other rides were walk-ons. The Little Mermaid sometimes can get up to like 15, 20 minutes. So that's how I know it's not really busy, but it's busy enough because, you know, another ride could be down or whatever. Tiana went down for a little bit. I think it rained for a little bit as well. So that usually kind of affects things, you know, depending on what you're looking at. And then also we went right before they shut down Tom Sawyer. So I wasn't there on the last day. We were there like the week before, I believe. So I think the crowds were a little more spread out, but overall, I think the crowd, it didn't seem too bad for the crowds. So I will say that Magic Kingdom it felt like a normal day, but it didn't seem too crowded like a normal summer. So, and yeah, and I think Epic Universe is probably a little bit of contribution to that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, like, because Epic Universe is the elephant in the room right now. It's an opening summer for this park, and like I said, a lot of people love it. So you think it is making an impact, though? Like when you went to Epic, it was the crowds were more.
Oh man, it was packed, and I don't know if it's, you know, I mean, I want to say that 11 rides plus 2 shows are enough, but I just think everyone kind of wants to experience these things. And like we waited like 2 hours for Mario Kart. Um we had we were at what hotel we're at? Cabana Bay. We're at Cabana Bay, which is an awesome hotel. They have a lazy river, they have 2 different like pool sections, they have a slide, they have a bowling alley in there. So Cabana Bay
Wow.
is definitely a really, and it's one of the budget hotels. Like it's actually fairly I don't want to say budget friendly, but I don't want to say cheap, but it was inexpensive compared to some of the other ones. So that's a great place if you ever do go to Cabana Bay. It's great, and it's right next to uh, Volcano Bay. It's right next to Volcano Bay. But yeah, we got in an hour early, and the crowds were pretty packed. Everyone wanted to go to Super Nintendo World first. So what we did is we actually went to Monsters Unchained, and it was basically a walk on. We got right in, out, and then we went to Donkey Kong, which was about an hour wait roughly. So it wasn't too bad. And then later on, we came back to Mario Kart, and that was like a 2-hour wait. So, and then we saw, I think Dragon was an hour wait. We didn't even try Harry Potter. We weren't even about to try that. Well, that'll be for next time. But it did seem a lot busier than when we went during like preview days, you know, which obviously makes sense. But it's just, and then that's where I saw Curse of the Werewolf was like 40 minutes, and I was like, yeah, no, there's no way I'm doing that. So it did seem that it was busier than normal. But we did go on a Saturday. I think we did go on a Saturday. So that's kind of expected on a Saturday and for the summer. But I know they are still kind of like holding the capacity a little bit, which is a little frightening since everyone's trying the main attractions. They want Mario Kart, they want Donkey Kong, they want Battle at the Ministry, and then Hiccup's Wing Gliders. Those are like the top ones, and Stardust, obviously.
Yeah.
And so my fear is that when those capacity slowly rises up, that you know, they're not, because you know, I hear that they are doing the expansions, that they're already thinking about that stuff, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to tackle those as quickly as they can for that park to not be like overcapacitated, basically, to say the least. But yeah, it did seem it was very, very I want to say busy, to say the least, but we did get a jump on certain things, and we kind of timed certain things to where we weren't kind of like rushing ourselves, but then again, we weren't trying to stay in line all that long, except for Mario Kart. And then, you know, we just gave up, let the kids run around Nintendo World, get coins. We fought Bowser Jr., you know, so it does have a lot of like different things that everyone can do. It's just, I want to get them to hurry up and get that extra space as quickly as possible. Because they do have a great park. It's completely amazing. And they're definitely taking some joy away from the Disney parks. So you can see it kind of evening out a little bit, but you know, also I think that, you know, with pricing rising for Disney as well, I think they are slowly pricing people out, and so
Yeah.
that's leaving people with bad taste in their mouth. So I think it's a combination of a bunch of things. Plus, it's so hot over here, man. It's crazy. If you don't have a neck fan, a cooling towel, umbrella hat, mist fan, like if you don't have the whole shebang, it's pretty hot out here. You could have a bad time, definitely. But
Oh, yeah, I remember that. We went 2 years ago in July, so it was like crazy, right in the middle of it, like right around this time 2 years ago. And yeah, I had to get one of those little moist towel things that they sell at the parks, and I put it around my neck. I mean, I'm in California, so it's hot out here too, but you guys have a whole other level of heat and
man,
humidity and all that stuff.
yeah, it's sweat hot. So it's like it's not just heat, like because we drove to California recently, and Arizona is hot, but it's dry heat. It's like 100 degrees out there, but it's still just dry. It's not muggy. And over here
Yeah.
can get muggy, so you're getting sweat in all kinds of crevices, and you're just like, oh, I'm ready to go. And luckily it did rain for us a little bit, so that kind of did help a little, but that was later in the day, like 6 o'clock. And then we actually ended up leaving a little early because we were just like, the day before we went, the weekend before, we just went to all the parks this last couple weeks. So like as adults, we were drained. I'm sure the kids were fine, but we were definitely drained. But yeah, I can see the capacity a little bit lighter than normal at the Disney parks for multiple reasons: hot, pricing, and Epic Universe.
Okay. Now I want to ask you too, have you noticed, I don't know if you've been to the other Universal parks, but have you noticed an impact on those? Like because Epic is impacting Disney, right? We assume it is. But has it impacted the other two Universal parks? I'm very curious about that.
I haven't been recently. I'm actually thinking about going this weekend because we want to go to Epcot for the new test track, previews. I think Saturday is the last day. So we're going to hit that up Saturday. And then after that, we're going to go to a Universal Park. So I might be able to give you at least more information Saturday. But I want to say the last time I went was probably a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, like right when Epic opened. And I didn't really see too much of a difference as far as capacity. Now, granted, I didn't do much when I went. I rode Rip Ride Rocket, so I could finally say that I rode that because haven't rode it until recently. And I got my, my annual pass holder pin and all that stuff. And then I rode Gringotts. So I wasn't there for long. But normally I look at the wait times and see what kind of everything's doing and just like get a feel for like the crowd itself. It felt like just like a normal Universal Park type crowd. So I don't think it's diminishing too much because most people bought the like 2-day, 3-day package initially when they released the ticket. So I'm sure a lot of people are just utilizing those days as opposed to like buying just single days. So I want to say it was kind of just like normal park crowd.
Yeah, because that makes a difference, right? Like when we kind of analyze this situation and all that, when you have Disney that you were saying, at least anecdotally, when you guys were there, like it was lighter. It wasn't dead, but you were saying it was lighter, right? And then, but the Universal parks don't seem to have that same issue with it being lighter. Because you could point to like, okay, there's a lot of things that can affect theme park attendance, economic factors, all kinds of stuff, right? But if Universal is still getting the same level of crowding, or even a little better with Epic Universe, probably, right? And Disney's lower, I mean, that points to an issue a little bit, right? And then plus, didn't Disney World just offer or announce some sort of Georgia resident discount or something like that?
Ooh, that is a good question. Like I said, I've been on hiatus for a couple of weeks, so I've like completely dead to like news. But I do know like Disney did like some summer tickets for Florida residents, so there's that. I do know that also Universal, their annual pass holder packages compared to Disney's are way better. Like you get free express pass after 4 p.m. if you're like the top 2 tiers. You get free premium parking. So there's a lot of and it's more affordable too. So I think it's like almost half the price for the top tier for both of them. So there's definitely a lot of different factors that are playing into these things. But yeah, Disney's trying to do stuff. They release, usually they don't do summer tickets for Florida residents, which is surprising. And they knew that they probably had to do something because of Epic Universe and their normal pricing. They just raised the prices to the annual passes recently. So they're trying little things, but that, I mean, if they did something for Georgia, that would probably make sense to me, just because they know they have to do little things, especially now because a lot of these parks now areas are closed. We have Dino Land is pretty much closed.
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer's now gone. And then so there's just a lot of things now. We lost Muppets, Rip Muppets, and so now they're almost trying to play catch up now with Epic Universe, and then hinting at a fifth park that may be possible. So they're giving little things out there to kind of build for the future, but now they're just trying to play catch up and trying to make sure that they don't lose as many people, pricing, whatever. They're always looking at shareholders. They always gotta, oh, here comes our quarter earnings call, so they're always looking for that next quarter earnings call. So they're trying to do little things to kind of make sure that the stock price doesn't go dip too far or whatnot. So yeah, they're trying little things, but hopefully they get this done as quickly as possible, so we all can enjoy the park, regardless of the price, hopefully.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because you bring up a great point with, I mean, they're going to, as Josh D'Amaro says, turbocharge, right? So a lot of Animal Kingdom is a construction site. You have Hollywood Studios, the whole Muppet area now is going to be, rethemed and changed. And there's a lot of stuff happening, but what does that speak to in the meantime with the park attendance and what have you? I mean, do you think this new parade coming out, the Starlight Parade, which looks really dope, actually, it looks really, really good, but do you think that parade will help with the attendance at all this summer? Or is that more of like, is a parade, because you guys are more of a tourist destination, is a parade enough to book a vacation?
I'm definitely looking forward to the parade because I'd never seen any of the nighttime parades. And so I'm definitely looking forward to something new, right? Since I go all the time. I don't think it's going to be quite enough because now they have to juggle the time of the parade and fireworks show, which also means that they're going to have to either stay open at least like another hour late, or, they have to juggle some things in that regard. So, and then they have to think about what's coming up because, as soon as August hits, we have Halloween. Apparently Halloween starts in August now. Yeah. So we have that. And they usually do like the night parade for Halloween and stuff too. I don't remember if they do fireworks or not for the Halloween, because I never go. I don't pay the extra for the Halloween or the Christmas. I don't mess with all that stuff, at least right now. Maybe if my pockets get a little more thick, then maybe we'll talk about it. But I don't think it's gonna be enough. I think it's just gonna be like just a taste of little things. But I mean, I'm looking forward to watching it and seeing the cool floats and the colors and everything, how vibrant it is. But other than that, I mean, I don't think it's going to be enough. I do like, though, we're getting more night stuff, because one thing that kind of irritates me, especially with Animal Kingdom, is that it always closes early before it gets dark.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Sometimes they stay later. Sometimes they don't. There's no rhyme or reason. Some people say it's because of the animals, but I honestly don't believe that, because they were open till like 8 at one point, and then they slowly scaled back to like 6 o'clock. So, which you miss out Pandora's Night View, which is an amazing area. Even though I wish it was more vibrant, that is probably one of the best areas for nighttime when it comes to lights. And so I wish they would play into that a little more. One of my favorite parks, Epcot. The ball just is amazing when it's lit up.
Incredible.
It's just amazing. And I'm so glad that they did that, because it needed something like that. And it's just so bright, and you can see it through the whole park. You can be in Japan, you can be in the UK, you can see it. And it's just so bright and vibrant. And I wish they would do that a little more for Animal Kingdom. So hopefully with the new area, they'll be able to kind of stay up just a little later. I wish we would stop doing daylight savings time, because that just really puts the kibosh on everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the night show will be cool, but I mean, Magic Kingdom doesn't necessarily need something. It's really the other parks that are losing, especially Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom's losing a lot more than all the other parks. We lost Muppets, but still, Hollywood has a lot of other things going for it. Whereas Animal
Yeah.
Kingdom, they just lost a whole section. So now the crowds are dispersed unevenly throughout the rest of the rides. So that's going to be posing a problem for like the next year or two, which is probably why they started on that area first, because they want to hurry up and get that out of the way so they can work on the other stuff. Because yeah, Animal Kingdom does need definitely some love.
Yeah, I'm my theme park style is definitely vibes. I love vibes. I can walk through Animal Kingdom and just absorb the atmosphere. I love that stuff. Go on like one ride and I'm still happy, right? But a lot of people aren't like that, admittedly. Like a lot of the normies aren't going for the vibes. I mean, a little bit maybe, but they're trying to get on rides with their kids and all that stuff. So yeah, that park is already light on things to do.
Yeah, the winos definitely love Epcot. I'll tell you that. They don't go for the rides. They go to drink around the world and jump into the water and get banned and all that stuff, which is just, it's so annoying. Like, I love that part. That's like my favorite park, besides Epic now. But it's just like once 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock hits, you don't walk around the world because you hear and see some crazy things over there. It's just the most annoying thing I've ever seen. And you don't think adults could act like children, but believe me, I've seen some tall toddlers out there.
some 40-year-old toddlers.
Oh
Huh?
man, it's just horrible.
That's horrendous. Yeah, it's Epcot's a beautiful park, but you're right. I noticed that when I was there a couple years ago, is that it gets a little wild, right? A little
They get
wild.
feisty. They get feisty out there, you know.
Absolutely. But to kind of go back to what you were saying about Spaceship Earth, though, like I'll never forget the first time I saw that that at night. And with the music, the area music, and all those lights, man, it's such like a beacon of like humanity or something.
Yes.
I get goosebumps even just thinking about it. It's incredible, absolutely.
Yeah,
incredible.
there's definitely something about that when it lights up, or it's moving to the music, or you just see it as you're exiting from like all the way from Japan or whatever. And you're just like following that white light, and you're just walking. You're just like, wow. It always amazes me too, because when we walk right under it, I just look up and I'm like, there's a ride in there. And it's just like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Like that's the main thing that you see. It's almost like a ride inside the castle of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like that's how epic it is. You're just like, there's a ride in there and it's lighting up and I can like go inside and ride that ride. And it's literally the pillar of the whole park. It always amazes me.
It's incredible. It's absolutely breathtaking. So we'll see. Hopefully Disney World, hopefully they can figure this stuff out. I'm sure they will. They're going to pull these levers and sort of adjust things with ticketing deals and all that good stuff, and probably add little things along the way to help out with entertainment and things like that, while a lot of these parks are kind of going under the knife, So we'll kind of see. But yeah, I mean, Rivers of America it's now that's closed, right? So that's going to be a construction site. Any updates on that? Have you seen anything? I know you've been kind of out of commission for about like a week or so, but I mean, have they started draining it or anything yet? Or
they
that you've heard?
I don't think it's drained. I think they're slowly like getting rid of the things inside. Like they took down one of the like the fences that had like the Becky plus Finn or whatever.
Yeah.
Drawing. They took that down. Earlier today. I was just scrolling through Twitter just to see what I've missed. And I saw that they took that down, but I haven't seen any water draining, or anything like that. So, that one's probably going to be the slower process since that they started that last. So I want to say they'll probably try to get Big Thunder Mountain up and running before they go like really, head first into Tom Sawyer. I think it's just like a slowly, disassemble demo day, but not yet. So I haven't seen any water drained or anything like that yet. So.
No, I know it's kind of a controversial topic, but what are your thoughts on that whole change? I mean, are you open to it? You against it, or how do you feel about it?
I'm on the line because I never really experienced the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer until like within the last year. Like, even though I went to the parks a lot, we never really experienced it. Maybe because half the time I didn't know that we could go there, or how to get there. And I was more with trying to get on the rides, the rides that I knew. I know that Pirates is going to be a certain amount of weight. I know that Jungle Cruise is going to be a weight. So I want to get on those. Tron opened up. So I want to get on Tron. I want to sleep in Carousel of Progress. I want to do all those things. Right. So So I never really fully experienced that until recently. And then once I went there, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Like it has caves in there. And then you go over the bridge, there's a whole like fort area, and they have like little guns with the holes. So it looks like you're shooting at Big Thunder Mountain. And like it's really a cool experience there, especially like with kids. You could just like here, get on the island and just go run around. Just don't fall in the water, And they go around and they can explore caves and all kinds of cool stuff. So it's a cool experience. Now, on one side, I understand how people can get upset because it's a little bit of them messing with their childhood and them wanting their kids to experience their childhood as well. So I get that. Also, I get the ambiance that area gives to all of Frontierland and even a little bit of, Liberty Square, but it has that whole aesthetic there. It gives the whole Frontierland the feel, and you're getting just visual, like people take pictures. You see all the pictures online, and like they're amazing pictures. There's sight lines everywhere. You're getting a little breeze off the water. You can see the boat come by, and it does give that aesthetic feel. Like it really just immerses you into that whole area. So I understand people being upset that they're losing that whole thing just to put a ride and more merch there. But on the other hand, I do see the potential for those rides. I mean, let's be fair. It's probably like one, maybe two rides. They're going to have the big ticket ride, and then they're going to have like a swing ride, or they're gonna have what I like to call the whiplash ride. They got the spinner ride. They're gonna have something, tow-mate or something. They're gonna have a little ride on top of the big ride. So more rides is a plus. I just wish that Disney would stop demolishing to just build. We can add without taking away. Like I understand the Splash Mountain, getting rid of Splash Mountain to put Tiana. Now, whether you agree with that or not, I could care less. Like whether it's, getting with the times, modernizing, it was, anti whatever. It's a good ride. And I wish they would have just made an original Tiana ride, but Tiana does kind of fit there. They did a decent job fitting there. But I just wish they would not get rid of Muppets. They can add, Monstropolis somewhere else. They didn't have to get rid of that. That is just a big merch thing. Like everyone loves Muppets, but then they stopped selling merch. So it's like, well, we're not selling merch. Well, yeah, you're not selling merch because you're not selling merch.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't put the merch out there for me to buy. So how can I buy it if I can't buy it? So it's just little things. I just wish they would stop demolishing because they have so much land that it's just it's insane that they're taking away things to add things. And I always say like Magic Kingdom has like 22 rides, something like that in attractions. And like the other parks don't really have that much. So why get rid of 2 rides? Which, to be fair, Dino Land USA was just, I didn't like it. Dinosaurs is a great ride, but that whole carnival thing, which I'm not sure how it works in Universal, like Simpsons, that's a whole carnival area, and it somehow works. Like people buy the carnival rides, and I don't see people buying the carnival rides at Dino Land anytime I went, because maybe it's just not the IP thing, like we mentioned before. Maybe it's an IP thing.
But and it's jarring too in that park. Like everything else in that park is like this organic, like real world kind of like weathered style stuff, right? Like you really get transported to like these other countries and what have you. Then you turn the corner and it's like you're in this plasticky looking parking lot carnival. It's weird, right?
Yeah, it was a bad fit to be. I've always didn't like that area. Even though I like Dinosaur, but that area just didn't fit well. So, and at least they're rectifying it. But the other thing, them taking rides down, like Hollywood only has like 15, 17 attractions. Like, I need all these parks to get up in the attraction around 20, Epcot is somewhat the same. I wish every country had its own kind of ride. The majority of the rides are all in front. So like when you're walking around the world, it's like, oh, I'm walking all around and then I have to walk all the way back to get to some rides. I wish there was more rides back there. You know, you just have Ratatouille and then that's it. It's like, oh my God, I got to walk all the way around just to get to on more rides. Now, to be fair, you know, that is wino country, so I understand. I understand the appeal over there, but I wish, you know, they were talking about putting like, you know, like I think they were talking about putting like a Mary Poppins ride in the UK, or you know, a Snow White in Germany, or like they, you know, they had some ideas there. I just wish they would have implemented that, like putting Muppets in like America. That would be kind of cool,
Oh
you know.
yeah.
They already have a show there, which I never knew there was a show there. I knew they had the acapella group over there, but I didn't know they actually had a show in America. And I actually went there not too long ago and I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, it's a decent show. You know, wasn't too bad. It was a little long for my taste, but it was not bad. You know, you're getting out of the sun and all that stuff. So that was cool. I wish they have like a really, they really need like a cool Japan ride there too, you know,
That'd be sick.
Mulan or just something, you know, get a different IP there. You know, you have so many different IPs for all these different countries that you could do something there. So I would like to see all the parks get up to at least 20 attractions and not just have Magic Kingdom be the one that has over 20 and all the other ones kind of have, you know, they have shows and stuff, but really
Yeah.
it's still not as much as Magic Kingdom. So I just wish they would stop replacing and just add without demolishing anything, you know, in the
Yeah,
parks.
no, absolutely. I think like a cool, like if it like obviously like a cool, like a better than the one in Japan, because Japan is just like a tow mater kind of ride. But if they had like a cool like Baymax dark ride in Japan or something,
Ooh.
that would be kind of sick, right? Like
I didn't
just
even think of that. That would be pretty dope because you guys have like kind of like the
Tokyo.
yeah, the San Francisco area, but you don't have a ride there. You know, Pixar is kind of mashed together in a way, and yeah, that would be so good to have like a Baymax ride or something there. You know, they have so many IPs, and it's just like I don't know if it's money wise or they're just like, you know, they're just trying to play it safe, or they're not trying to spend so much because they're doing other parts in other countries. So, you know, it could be just divvying the money in that regard. And they're like, you know what, we're fine. Epcot, you know, we get money from all the drinks and merchandise. So it's like, why do we need rides, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Muppets is also an easy win for them because they can, and they're kind of doing it, to be fair, they're kind of doing it with the Rock and Roller Coaster thing. They're kind of taking that concept and then placing the Muppets in that theme, which works really well. But that's the beauty of the Muppets, right? Like you can technically make it like we talked about the Japan Pavilion. You could make a Japanese dark ride starring the Muppets and have them all
Right.
like, you know, samurais and like, because the Muppets kind of work in any environment, really. You can
Oh
dress them
yeah.
up and do all kinds of stuff. So I wish
Yeah,
they would utilize them more.
they kind of transcend their own timeline or universe. So like they could literally do anything and whatever country they're in, and it would be kind of cool. Like, yeah, like you said, like, and unfortunately it's a retheming, but you know, Aerosmith, I mean, they're losing the license. So I can kind of understand that regard.
Yeah.
And then they can keep Muppets as long as they want. You know, they're never going to lose that license, hopefully. But so I understand that retheming of Aerosmith, you know, and whether you want to believe, you know, it has anything to do with, you know, any real world, you know, so-called legal trouble or whatever, you know, that remains to be seen. But they didn't do anything when all that stuff was happening. So I think it's just more just like a licensing thing.
I think so.
So, and it is a way to kind of keep Muppets at the park without people completely being mad at them,
Right.
basically, you know, so they still have something to go with. But again, that's just like, that's another, 6 months, maybe year refurbishment that they have to do while they're doing Monstropolis. So you're losing another main attraction at Hollywood. And then once that opens up and you have all the, you know, which I can't wait for Monstropolis. I just can't wait for that first suspended coaster.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be able to use my GoPro on it and I can record it and do all that
Oh,
fun stuff, you know.
that's sick.
I'm cross my fingers, but yeah, you know, it's the time taking away from all these things. They just rebuilt Big Thunder Mountain. They're getting rid of Tom Sawyer. You got rid of, you know, Dinosaur's going to go away soon, so that's going to be another ride at Animal Kingdom. Retheming this and that. So there's a lot of different cookie jars that they're grabbing into. So hopefully they can get everything done as quickly as possible. I hope everything looks amazing. I hope we don't have any, troubles with testing and all that stuff, because that was another issue with like retheming things.
Yeah.
Like Tiana had a bad testing phase. I don't understand why. They did refurbish Rock and Roller Coaster a while back because of the brakes. They had to buy they bought cheap brakes apparently or something. Then they had to rebuy new brakes and refurbish that. So now that's been working a lot better lately. So it's just, little things like that can affect things. Which also happens in it happens at Epic too. Epic Universe has the same issues. It's a new park. There's new technology. A lot of not a lot, but some of the rides are outside, especially the coasters. So then those get delayed. So you can't even ride those when it's raining half the time. So there's a lot of little things you got to take into account when it comes to, what kind of ride you're going to put there and how, how's that going to affect with Florida weather. You got hurricanes, you got all kinds of things, to kind of like juggle with. So, we do have a lot of things, hopefully, promising for Walt Disney. So I can't wait to see everything and it's built and everything's done and we don't have to worry about building, hopefully for the next, after it's done for the next probably 3 to 5 years. But yeah, we're gonna have fun regardless. So
absolutely, it's a good time to be a park fan. I mean, you got all these big companies, Universal and Disney, kind of fighting for us, like fighting for our dollars, right? And that's always good for the consumer. So
oh yeah.
Actually, before I move on to our last topic, I'm a Disney guy. I grew up with Disney. I'm a huge diehard fan. I always have been, and it will probably always hold a special place in my heart. But even out here in California, we don't have the Universal stuff like you guys have out there. We have like a very unique style park. It's half real working studio and half theme park on a hill. So yeah, it's wild, you know what I'm saying? But I've honestly
seen all the escalators on that in that park.
Right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Like it's a wild layout. But I've actually been, since I had I recently upgraded to the Platinum AP for Universal, and I've gone more time to Universal this year than I have Disney. Now, to be fair, I live a lot closer to Universal, but it's just, there's something about it, and it's I think probably similar over there in Orlando. It's just an easier process too. Like the bag checks are easier, the parking is easier. It's just when I think about going to Disney, it's it's a further drive, and then I got that stupid Mickey and Friends parking structure and the whole rigmarole with the people checking your bags. I'm like, I don't know, man. It just Universal has been way more attractive for me lately, and I've been hitting that up a lot more, and it's been cool because it's something different,
Yes, me and my girl were actually talk about this all the time. It's Universal is doing a lot of things right, all the way to just the parking in general. Universal over here in Orlando, parking is so simple. It's shaded except for the top parking garage. Everything is shaded. It's easy access. The security checks are pretty quick. You don't have to scan into the park. They literally take your picture and they're like, all right, you're good. It's never been so simple. And I've been to I go to Busch Gardens sometimes in SeaWorld. Just trying to scan your ticket is the most gut-wrenching thing. It's all right, I'm already done. I don't even want to be here anymore. Now, to be fair, Busch Gardens and SeaWorld are kind of in different boats between Universal and Disney. Disney and Universal are more apples to apples, where it's apples to grapes or something,
Yeah.
But yeah, Universal does a lot of things right. It's so amazing to me anytime I go to a Universal park, whether it's Epic, whether it's Islands of Adventure, Universal, and then I go to Disney, and just the little things that are done differently, all the way down to the soda, the soda machines at Universal. Do you know how cold the water is in those machines? It was so amazing because I went with all my kids and stuff, and I had 5 cooling towels, and I had to wet all 5 cooling towels. I had to take a break because it was so cold. It was freezing my hand trying to cool the freezing towel, just to cool those towels. And it's just, they do just little things better. And the Coke machines at Disney, I don't like them. First of all, they're not just their Coke products, but there's only so many things. You have Coke, Sprite, and then you have maybe Fanta, and then one other thing. There's no variety. Number one, I can never get a Dr. Pepper to save my life at a Disney park. Universal, those machines, just the water itself, like I couldn't drink anything else. If you just gave me the water from those machines, I'll be happy. It's super, super cold. They're 10 times better than any of the water filtration systems that they have at Disney, whether it's just like the water fountain or like the ones that you put your cup in and it does it for you or whatever. Just like little things like that is just so amazing. Especially if you're an annual pass holder, you get preferred parking. So I get to park really close.
Nice.
After 4 p.m., I get express passes, so I can go on any of the rides I want to. It's such a different beast. And I know Disney doesn't think they have to do that because they're Disney. They have, 4 parks, they have the name, they have all the IP and stuff like that. So like they can get away with little things like that, right? Especially since a lot of people are coming from either overseas or out of the state or what have you. So they're not really familiar as people who are annual pass holders who go all the time and see these little things in action more often. So I think they get away with it a little more. But, if you're from out of town, you go to both parks, you could definitely see a difference in how things are handled, all the way down to the machines, to parking, to just checking, scanning into the park. So Universal has a lot of things going for them. I just wish some of those little things were implemented more into the Disney parks.
Yeah.
But not to say that's not horrible. I will say sometimes the parking and the drinks can get under my skin a lot. But other than that, Disney has their own thing. They try to do their own thing. Universal has their own thing. There's pros and cons to both. But yeah, I've been wanting to go to Universal parks way more than going to the Disney parks. The only reason why I have that reluctance of going is because I usually stream from the parks. And so I can't go on a lot of the rides with my camera, even with a GoPro. Like some of the rides, they won't even let me on with a GoPro with a chest strap. So like I'm missing out on a lot of those little things that I can just enjoy myself, number one, but two, let the people who are watching me experience those things if they haven't already experienced them. So I have to resort to kind of like doing recordings of certain rides if I can. And then other than that, I can't really do anything else unless, pretty soon I get these meta glasses and then I can start saying, hey, record real quick, son.
Yes.
And then I can record stuff. So hopefully that's coming soon. But yeah, Disney does have, I do like to stream from Disney more because I can actually stream and I can literally go on everything. I can go on Tron and use my GoPro. I can go on Guardians and just hold my phone on my gimbal. Like I've done it so many times. I did an all-day challenge and I was just there with my camera, just recording everything. And it definitely is more convenient in that regard. But Universal, it has those amazing rides. It does a lot of the little things a lot better. So it's definitely a trade-off here and there. So I would like to go to Universal more and be able to record more. But, I wish just some of the rides were a little bit more accommodating. And usually I think that's more of it's more of a policy for Universal than it is with Disney. Like even on things that I can record, they're like, put your phone away, don't record. I was like, what? I'm like, this is Bowser Jr. This is a virtual reality thing. Why can't I record my kids enjoying themselves on this little interactive game? I didn't get it. And then that made me mad. I get mad very easily. So I'm just like, this is just so stupid.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. That ride goes like 2.5 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Mario Kart. And then like they have the whole interactive thing area. Like they wouldn't even let me record in the interactive area where we're just standing there like going like this to the wall. Like I was just like, ugh, I know you're doing your job, but I'm just like, ugh, I'm irritated now.
Yeah, I feel yeah. That is one of the things. I think another one of the flaws at Universal is they're overly aggressive with some of the restraints. Like out here in California, in Hollywood, like that Secret Life of Pets ride, they button you in there like you're gonna go upside down.
Like, oh yeah.
I mean, it's tight, man. I went with my buddy George, the Italiano that here on the channel. And we were in there so tight, I thought I was gonna have to buy him a drink. Right. It's like, wow, I'm getting kind of close, George. No,
but, it's weird. It's just weird little things. Like, and some rides, like I think I had my GoPro or I had my camera, my phone when I got on like Gringotts or something. Like I did just little things. They're like, all right, put your phone away. I'm like, all right, I'll put my phone away.
Yeah.
So I wait, like
Absolutely.
there's little things that I'm like, all right, I'm good. I can Men in Black, you can't bring anything. No backpacks, no nothing. Which is actually another great thing about Epic Universe that I wish they would implement more into the Universal parks is they have lockers in the queue line that you do not have to pay for.
Okay.
So you're there, and if you're going on something that you have to put something away, they have a locker right there for you. You don't have to worry about nothing. You don't have to pay $3 every time you go on Men in Black. Like that's a little thing that's frustrating. Like I'm paying $5, and then it's a way to like make you spend $10 for all day lockers. Like I'll just spend $10 all day for the locker because I'm gonna need it on this ride. I'm gonna need it on this ride.
Right.
So it's a little bit of price gouging, but that's a great thing about Epic Universe. Monsters has a locker. Stardust has a locker. Hiccups has a locker. I think those are the main ones that you actually need lockers for. Everything else you can pretty much bring your stuff in. But yeah, they all have lockers right there. You can pay for a locker in the front, but why would you when you could just put your stuff in the locker right there in the line?
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that that's in the new park shows you that might be the direction they're going to go in with the other two as well eventually. So that's good news. That's
I
great
hope so.
news.
And everything's photo verification. So you just put your face there. They scan your face. Boom. A locker opens up. You're good to go. You put your stuff in there, close it up, and then you show your face again. Same locker opens up. It's great. It's so
That's
amazing.
awesome. So you don't have to mess with remembering what locker because you'll see it. It just opens up. You don't got to mess with like, what's my passcode again?
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
that stuff.
You do. I would say you do have to remember it because if like, let's say you get face painting and in Darkmoor, that sometimes it won't recognize the face. So sometimes either a different locker will open or it won't just recognize your face at all. So you do still want to remember your locker just in case. But yeah, those things are actually pretty good. I was actually surprised. They added lights to them too because previews, they didn't have lights. So it was very dark. So now they added lights to them. They can see your face very clearly. Everything's streamlined, man. I'm enjoying the new parks, man. It's great.
Awesome. All right, let's dive into our last and final topic. This is actually a super chat we got last night on a live show we did. Friend of the channel, Matthew Murr, he brought up a great question here. He says here, what do you guys make of this quote by Walt Disney, childishness? I think it's the equivalent of never losing your sense of humor. It's the equivalent of not getting so stuffy that you can't laugh at others. So, and maybe not just at others, but like at yourself too, like not taking, yourself too seriously. But
right.
This is kind of interesting because Walt Disney, the whole kind of, ethos of this man was like kind of like everyone is a child at heart, right?
Right.
And we all have that in us. Now, some people suppress that. And I think basically to answer Matthew's question, I think what it means is like, people should, within reason, and I'll get to that in a second, but like you do want to kind of maintain some of those childhood qualities in you. Like I think children have this sense of wonder and curiosity. And I think curiosity is seriously one of the best things, the most vital things that even as adults that you can have, because without curiosity, you don't learn, you don't grow. Like it's curiosity that makes you move forward and like makes you want to learn about new things and explore, maybe new, even job opportunities, things like that. So I think that those qualities of children, I think are qualities that sadly a lot of adults don't really maintain when they get older, but I think they should. And I think that's kind of what Walt was saying, right? Like you want to, obviously you're going to grow up, you're going to be an adult, you're going to take care of business, but at the same time, or as Justin Bieber says, he's standing on business. Yeah. Right. You're going to want to stand on business and all that. But you want to keep some of these childhood qualities because they do benefit you as an adult. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of what he's getting at. But what do you think about this?
Oh, it's a great quote, and it can go like a bunch of different ways. Like when you go to the park, you can see this quote in action, like with people's faces, whether it's parents letting their kids and like just being happy that their kids are happy and experiencing things for the first time, or that they're just so excited for whatever's new or something they're always used to, or seeing a movie live in a ride version, like, so you can kind of see these little things in parents' faces, or just just people just, I do feel like trying to keep that childness wonder inside you at all times. One, so you don't go crazy. That's
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
And two, it kind of does keep you younger for longer. I guess you can kind of um, correlate it to like the movie Up. Like the guy he was an old crotchety man, and eventually, he did kind of open up more, and he he just lost sight at just like the lighter things in the world, like not being so uptight. And but then again, I mean, you see the totally opposite when they go to these parks too. Like there's some crazy things, like people fighting,
Oh man.
all kinds of crazy stuff. So like it can go both ways, definitely. But that's kind of what like all these parks, especially Universal, does this too, which is great. Is that it gives you that sense of childlike wonder, like you said, curiosity, just letting go basically of
Yeah.
just everyday life and not worrying about things, and just kind of experiencing the reality that you're in at that moment, like, which is why people are upset about, Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer, and they feel like they're losing their childhood, and it makes them upset. And sometimes some people can't let go of certain things, so like it does feel to them that they're losing a little bit of their childhood, or a little bit of that childishness that they have, because of whether corporate bureaucracy or whatever you want to call it. But and I understand that for those people, but these parks are really just a testament to this quote, basically, no matter what park it is. I mean, even Animal Kingdom, any of the parks that happened after his passing, um Hollywood is another good example. The whole Toy Story Land is amazing. It just, at night, it just lights up, and it's so cool looking, and it just, those little things amaze me. So yeah, I mean, it's a great quote. Basically, don't take things too seriously. You can laugh at others. I laugh at others, and whenever I go to these parks, I
Yeah.
see some pretty funny things. I like to say that I'm laughing with them. I like to feel like they're laughing inside too sometimes. Unless it's like a couple arguing, then I'm laughing at them. But that's the way that my childishness is. My childishness is laughing, sometimes laughing at other people, whether it's directly, indirectly, whether and I'm sure people laugh at me too, which is fine. I've almost tripped on things 15 million times at these parks, even though I know where everything is. So I can feel those eyes laugh, looking at me and laughing, which is fine. If I can make someone laugh, that's fine. So yeah, great quote. It really is a testament to his vision and what these parks, even Universal, what they entail and what they give to people. Yeah, you're spending money to experience those things, but it's really just them wanting their customers to have a great time, let go, just experience, just have their jaws drop every time they see something, turn left or right. And it is an amazing feeling to always go to these parks. So anytime I go to these parks, yes, I definitely feel this childishness within me, no matter what I'm doing. So yeah, definitely a great quote.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Now, do you think there's because Disney adults have gotten a lot of heat, they still get a lot of heat. I mean, there's like a new Disney adult article every 6 months. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All the time. It's like this perpetual thing. Do you think there's, because a lot of the criticisms with like our fan base, like the Disney adult kind of fan base, is like they're maybe go too far in this direction where they almost forget that they're adults in a way. Like, and not everybody, obviously, because it's a big fandom. It's
There's a spectrum.
there's a spectrum. Well said, exactly. I mean, do you think there's some validity to that, where it's like you want to have that childishness in you, but at the same time you have to sort of thread that needle a little bit and still kind of snap out of it and kind of handle business as well? Like, is there a point where you kind of where people go too far with it sometimes?
I feel like it can go both ways, honestly. So there's it's just like anything. There's extremes to everything, whether you're talking about politics or foodies or whatever the case is, there's going to be the extremes that's going to ruin it for everyone else. And then there's going to be the polar opposites. And then there's going to be people in between. So it can definitely go both ways. You know, there are some people that go overboard with certain things. There's going to be, you know, us as content curators, well, at least for me, I kind of go back and forth with these things to where like, I'm there to have fun. You know, I just want to experience the parks, and you know, everyone has their own kind of reason why they want to experience the park. You know, for me, it kind of brings me back to when I used to go with my kids all the time, before whatever my personal situation is, right? And then I didn't go for a while, and then I went back to the parks, and I went by myself for like the first time, and it was cool. You know, I didn't have to worry about, you know, kids going to the bathroom, or I didn't have to worry about feeding them all the time. I could just kind of walk around and do my own thing, and it was great. But also at the same time, it kind of didn't feel the same, you know, because Disney does give that, you know, that kind of family feel. So I was kind of torn, you know, back and forth between like, yeah, this is great. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to rush. I can do this, that. But at the same time, you know, I do get that. Like when I took my kids to the park, like having them experience things that they haven't experienced, because last time we took them, they were like 3 and 5, and now they're 8 and 11. So like they kind of don't really remember a lot of these things, especially my 3-year-old. So it was great to get her, she's the thrill seeker, get her to ride Tron. She wanted to ride Tron. She wanted to ride Tower of Terror. She got to ride Guardians.
That's awesome.
And she, you know, she rode Rock and Roller Coaster. And like, so it was so great to get her to experience those things. So that made me even happy. And that goes back to the childishness that I almost felt like living vicariously through her, because she got to experience those things for the first time. So but for me, yeah, it is kind of a double-edged sword. So, you know, I kind of am torn between, you know, me trying to get content, also at the same time, not trying to bother other people while I'm doing my content. You know, I usually am pretty mindful with that. And then at the same time, trying not to get annoyed by people who are on that extreme end. You got, you know, people recording, I've seen people from out of the country, you know, or out of the I don't want to say it's out of the state. More than likely it's out of the country usually, like school trips, and like they'll be at Epcot. Of course, it's always Epcot. And they have fountains in the UK, and they were literally like sitting in the fountains.
Oh man.
And I was like, do you guys do this at home? Like, what? I don't understand people when they go on vacation. They really go on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Like they feel like they can do these little things. So, I mean, but those aren't Disney adults, but let's kind of stick to Disney adults. But yeah, Disney adults, there are some people that can definitely go overboard. For whatever reason. It could be any really reason. It could be that, you know, they don't have kids and they have disposable income, and they just love Disney since they were a kid. So they kind of want to just splurge on Disney. There's, you know, the winos, I want to get drunk at Disney, and, you know, then they end up jumping in the water. So then they get you know, it's a couple of things, but yeah, so I can see how I've seen the Disney adult fiasco for a lot of people criticizing us, saying we'd be a mental institution.
Oh, right.
So like I can understand where that can come from, some of these people, but for the most part, I think most of us are pretty harmless. You know, we are pretty nice. Every now and then there'll be a family taking a picture. I'm like, oh, hey, you want me to take your picture? All right, yeah, cool. All right, boom. Yeah, there you go. No problem. Have a great trip, you know? So like I do like little things like that. So like, I mean, yeah, it can definitely lean to the extremes from times, but I think for the most part, you know, we are relatively harmless. We just like to, you know, for whatever reason, experience the parks, whether it's based on, you know, reliving our childhood, whether, you know, it's always been our favorite ride or favorite movie. We're, you know, want to live vicariously through our kids, or whether we just, you know, want to splurge and this is the only vice that we have, you know, whatever the reason is. So mostly we're relatively harmless, but yes, I can understand the hate for some of these people, because I sometimes hate them too.
I completely agree. I'm on the same page, brother. I'm on the same page. Well, TPA, it was awesome having you on. I definitely want to have you back on again for more recorded shows like this, but even the live shows, man. It'd be a lot of fun having you on and talking shop with us. So appreciate you, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm always available. Usually Eastern 9 p.m. But yeah, I'm always available. Just hit me up whenever. We can figure something out.
Awesome. And if you want to remind everybody where they can find you on social media.
Yes, sir. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Theme Parks Assemble. We are also on Twitter, TP Assemble, mostly on YouTube, to be fair, but I trying to get into more of those other sites. But you can find me at everything. You just search for Theme Parks Assemble. You'll find the icon.
There he is. I will be linking the YouTube channel and all that good stuff in the description down below. There we go. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. So make sure you go ahead and show some love to Theme Parks Assemble. Thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below with all your thoughts on everything we discussed today. We would love to hear from you. And until next time, see you later.
Don't forget to subscribe to OG55 and become a member today.